Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, that's see what kind of morning it is? It's not. Because we're talking about last night. All right. Let's start this again. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
Rabbi.
morning.
All right. We are learning Mishna Nazir. That I got right. Parak Ches, chapter 8, Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2. Okay. So now, the Mishnah says like this. This is the case. Nazir shayatame besafek umuchlit besafek. We have a Nazir. It's got a lot of issues. Got a lot of things to deal with. Number one, he made himself a Nazir. Number two, he's tamei besafek, like we've had previously. He doesn't know did he become tamei or not, which means he doesn't know if he has to basically shave his head and bring certain sacrifices and start all over again, or that he's just fine and he can continue observing his days of Naziris and complete it, after 30 days, because we're talking about a case he took upon himself 30 days. Okay, that's one issue. Umuchlit besafek. The added issue today is that he's not sure if he became a Metzora or not. Metzora means he has this certain type of a skin discoloration that makes him impure. We know that you can first get a sign of it, and you have to be closed up. You have to be quarantined, and we see how it develops. Based on certain signs, we know you can become a confirmed Metzora, which makes you impure. And and it's important to bear in mind for this Mishnah that a person who is a Metzora, confirmed, and then the signs of the disease go away, so then he can be declared clean. He shaves his entire body he shaves. He goes to the mikveh, waits another 7 days, shaves his body again, goes to the mikveh again. The next day brings sacrifices, and then he is completely pure to be able to eat from karbanos, from sacrifices. Now, if you are tamei mace, if you're tamei from a dead body, you have to be sprinkled with the paraduma water day 3, day 7, go to the mikveh, and by that night, you're good to go to eat sacrificial meat. If you are a Metzora, then the night after you have gone through all the process doesn't help you eat sacrifices. The next day you have to bring us your set of sacrifices, and then you can eat any kind of sacrificial meat. Okay? Now, this person doesn't know if he became a Metzora or not. I don't know what the case is exactly, but he doesn't know. He's in doubt. So he's got a deal. No. What? He was confirmed. He's not sure if he was confirmed or not. So as a Metzora. So that's his issue. Is he a Nazir? Is he a pure Nazir? Is he a Nazir or is he a Nazir who became impure? Or is he a Nazir who got saras? As we previously learned, during the days of being confirmed as a Nazir, and those 7 days that you have to wait after the signs of the tsaras go away, you had your first shaving, you waited 7 days before the second shaving and going to the mikveh. Those days, all those days do not count towards your Naziris. If you were a Nazir and you became a Metzora in the middle, those days don't count. They don't necessarily knock off it doesn't make you start your Naziris over again, but those days don't count. Okay, so this is the person's problem. He's got some issues here. Now, the issue that's going to start off is the fact that this person, who now he may have been a confirmed Metzora, right? Like we said, he's got to go through a shaving, wait a week, and a shaving. Now, the problem is he can't do the shaving. How's he going to do the first shaving? Maybe he's a Nazir. Meaning he doesn't know for sure. If we would know for sure that he was a Metzora, that's the rule. If we would know, and we're going to see this at the end of the Mishnah, if we would know for sure that this guy was a Metzora, then actually he'd be allowed to shave his head, even shave his whole body, including his head, even if he's a Nazir. Because we know then the halacha is that overrides the positive commandment for the Metzora to shave, is going to shave his entire body would override the prohibition of a Nazir not being able to cut his hair. But he's a Suffolk. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. So therefore, that's his first problem. The first problem he faces is that he's ready to do his first shaving, but how can he do it? Maybe he's a Nazir, and a pure Nazir. Whatever. I'm saying he was for sure a Nazir, and either way, the truth is, if he's an impure Nazir, he's supposed to be shaving his head, but maybe he's a pure Nazir and he can't shave yet. So this person, he's stuck, right? This Mitzvah is stuck. What's he going to do? So let me just read the words of the Mishna, and then we'll try to explain everything. This person will be able to eat from sacrificial meat after 60 days. It will take him 60 days in order to be able to eat sacrificial meat. Now, the point is like this. The point is, excuse me, the point is that, again, if he was tamei from a dead body, if that's all he was, then he could be sprinkled with the paraduma water. Day 3, day 7, go to the mikveh. He's good to go for eating sacrificial meat or anything holy. He's good to go. All right, but the problem is that's not what he may be. He may be that, and that will be, and that issue will be solved. The issue of eating sacrificial meat or anything sanctified is taken care of from the point that he was coming from a dead body. However, the issue is he may have been a mitzvah. Okay, so if he's going to want to move on in life and start eating kachim and eating sacrificial meat and sacrificial food, so then he's got to go through the process of 2 shavings and then sacrifices. But as we said, how can you do the shaving if he's a Nazir? So this guy has to find the ability to be able to do his first shaving. He's got to figure out a way of being able to do his first shaving that will not in any way compromise his being a Nazir. He's got to basically wait to a point of time where he knows that even if he's a Nazir, he'll be able to cut his hair. That's what he has to figure out. So says the Mishnah, that'll take you 60 days. That'll take you 60 days. Meaning, again, we're talking about here, he took upon himself to be a Nazir for 30 days, and all these questions, maybe became Tameh, maybe he's a confirmed Mitzvah, all happened at the beginning. That's the case here. It all happened at the beginning. All right. So now, if he keeps 30 days of Naziris now, right, or he completes 30 days of Naziris, so then, let's look at it. If he was a Nazir Tahar, then he's done with his Naziris. If he's a Nazir Tameh, he can cut his hair anyway. He's going to cut his hair right away. All right, so wait 30 days, and we know now that whatever you are, you can do your first shaving. Yeah. You can do your first body shaving. Okay, so do your first body shaving. Great. That's taken care of. All right. But now he has to wait a week and do a second one. Now, how easy now the second shaving, again, if he was a Nazir Tameh, right, then he has to now observe 30 days of being a Nazir Tar. But if he's a Nazir Tar now, he can't do the second shaving because that's all in doubt. So he's got to wait another 30 days in order to cover the possibility that he was a Nazir Tameh, and now he kept his 30 days, and now that he kept his 30 days, so okay, so now go shave your hair, go shave yourself, top to bottom. No, that's not going to be a problem. So therefore, after 60 days, if he was a Mitzvah, he's taken care of. He's taken care of. All right, but there's still a problem. And now again, during all this time, don't forget, we'll try not to go through all the details, but during all this time, right, we had before, if you were in doubt whether you're a Mitzvah, if you were a Nazir or not, right? So then when we say cut your hair, you got to bring this carbon, right? You got to bring a bird offering, a bird sin offering, and an animal as an ola, and you got to say, well, if I was a Nazir Tameh, then the bird was part of my sin offering for being Tameh. But if I wasn't Tameh, then that's just brought out in doubt because I'm allowed to bring it in doubt, and the animal is my burnt offering, and once I have one burnt offering, I can cut my hair. like we had in those. You're going to have to go through all that, or you have to go through all those calculations with the animals and the sacrifice that you bring, because you have to bring a sacrifice in order to be able to cut your hair. But all you have to do sometimes is one. All you have to do minimally is one. All right. Now, the problem is like this. The problem now is, okay, now let me make sure I'm going to get this right. Okay. So now let's read the next part of the Mishnah. The V'shoiseh yayin metame lemesim achameh ve'esrim yoyim. Practically speaking, drinking wine and being able to make yourself tummy to a dead body happens after 120 days. You know, another 60 days to take care of that. Now, why is that? It'll be 120 altogether. Now you're going to wait another 60 days. Why is that? And that is because, let me read you from here. He can drink wine and become tummy to the dead after 120 days from the beginning of the original Nazir's term. This is because he must now take care of the possibility that he was a Nazir who became tummy from a corpse and then conclude his Naziris. Now, if he was indeed tummy from a corpse, he must shave again before he can start his count of Naziris. The shaving he did for possibly being a Metzora is not considered a shaving for a Nazir tummy, because one shaving cannot serve to fulfill two shaving obligations. That means like this, which I find very interesting now that, you know, every time you learn something over again, because you kind of gain some new questions or new insights. And that is, okay, we said this guy before can do his shavings as a Metzora because he took care of the possibilities of his being a Nazir, right? Because at this point of time, he's allowed to do it. But at the same time, when he shaved himself at those points of time, and he was shaving himself because he was possibly a Metzora. If he shaved himself for being a Metzora, then it didn't count for the shaving he needs to do as a Nazir Tameh or as a Nazir for completing his term. Because you can't do one shaving and count for two things. Yeah. Your shaving cannot count for both in case you're a Metzora and in case you're and for being a Nazir. Whether it means a pure Nazir, it doesn't count. Which I find very interesting, because if it doesn't count, then why don't we say, how could he even shave to begin with? The whole point was to wait 60 days, because at this point, as a Nazir, he could shave, right? But it comes out his shaving didn't count. So if it didn't count, shouldn't it be like it didn't allow him? It comes out, it doesn't, or he shouldn't be able to have done it. It didn't allow him to do it because it didn't count. Well, apparently that's not what we say. Apparently we say that at this point he's allowed to cut his hair, but will it count for him? Meaning, will count for him to either, number one, allow him to start his Naziris over again if he was impure, or to conclude his Naziris if he was pure. So what this guy has to do now? He's got to keep another 60 days. Because again, now he just reverts back to the question, what is he? Is he a Nazir that was Tameh or a Nazir that wasn't Tameh? If he was a Nazir that wasn't Tameh, then we can't say, go cut your hair in case you're Tameh. Maybe you're not Tameh, and you're not allowed to cut your hair at this point. So you got to keep 30 days for Naziris in case you were Nazir Tar. Okay. And after that, you're going to bring sacrifice. You're going to bring certain sacrifices. We mentioned before in the previous Mishnah, the whole bringing certain sacrifices and making certain conditions. If I was tar, if I was tameh, and what's going to happen is after the first 30 days, he's going to cut his hair. He's going to cut his hair because either he is finishing his term as a Nazir, or he's cutting his hair because he's a Nazir tameh and has to cut his hair in order to start all over again. As I said, bring the sacrifices like the previous Mishnah said, what you bring and how to do it. And then keep another 30 days in case he was the Nazir Tameh, right? Who needed to go ahead and keep 30 days as a pure Nazir. And that's what he does now. And after 120 days of doing all this, he will now be able to go back to drinking wine and becoming Tameh for dead bodies. But remember, the whole time he was able to drink, The whole day, the whole time, what was he able to drink?
Schnapps.
What?
The whole 120 days, he couldn't drink wine, but he could drink schnapps.
Yeah.
Okay, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
What
Good
is
night.
What?
Good night.